Yo, what is up, everybody? What's on and popping? Daryll, what up, big dog? Daryl's getting his camera ready. Okay, I hope y'all are ready for another episode of Wholesale Hardknocks after we just had our freaking killer live last week. Like the live last week was, instead of doing Wholesale Hardknocks, if you guys missed it, boy, you done missed out. We went like, it was almost, I think it was 3 hours long. 3 hours long, right, Daryl?
Oh, the our webinar, our master
Dude,
class.
a master class is like, I don't even think that is a good word for it. It was like, I don't even know what we should call it, but it was dope. It was dope. People got a
It was
lot of
fire.
value. I had a lot of people contacting me after, like, holy crap, you guys need to do another one, need to do another one, need to do another one. So we're probably going to do another one. So stay tuned. But we're going to juice it up a little bit, like even more than we already did. So stay tuned for that. But we appreciate all y'all that came on that live. So for people that are just joining, we had a webinar last week instead of doing Wholesale Hardknocks. Maybe some of you guys are like, what the heck? Why didn't Wholesale Hardknocks happen last week? Well, we told y'all should have been listening. We did a webinar for like 3 hours straight. People in there like asking us questions. We did a Q&A at the end, like got to interact. It was just a lot of people got a lot of value out of it. Not only did a lot of people get a lot of value out of it, me and Daryll got a lot of value out of it. Like I learned things on that Zoom. It was really good. So I appreciate everybody that came out to that. Daryll, what's going on, bro?
Bro, it's another day in the life, dog. It's been
What does
crushing
that
it,
look like?
bro. What about you?
Man, same old, bro. Not even same old. It's like just crushing life. So I guess same old, because we always crushing life. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Bro, I got to a point today where I was like, damn, this business is hard.
Really? You think that it's hard, huh?
Bro, I was like, this is pretty tough, bro. Like I was like, damn, like what the heck? Why didn't nobody tell me this? But I'm just super grateful because every time that you go through something, it's just a lesson to learn, a new lesson to learn. And even if you don't, if you already learned that lesson, it's a reminder. You know what I mean? Like,
100%, bro. Yeah, this business is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. You're
yeah.
gonna have your ups and downs. You're gonna have your peaks and valleys. It's like you're gonna think things are happening, and all of a sudden things change on a dime. Like literally, bro. Literally, I was supposed
What
to
a
close on
dime, bro.
dude on a dime. I was supposed to close on a deal on this Friday coming up to buy and fix and flip, but we had things come up with just title and some delays and stuff. Now we're not ready to close until Monday. Not really that big of an issue, but just things happen. Whatever, literally in every single deal, bro. This is like if you're doing retail sales, if you're doing wholesaling, if you're freaking doing commercial, like
okay, I found this on the
you're
web.
always going to run into things on a transaction. Like my girl's sister is buying a house right now. And she's in the process of like she's buying a house, like a retail type of house. She went out, got qualified for a loan, all those things. And she got to her close date was supposed to be last week. And the close date got extended because of something that happened with like the loan or something like that. They had to do a little bit more underwriting or something stupid that always happens. And she's like freaking out because this is her first real estate deal ever. And I'm like, yo, that is literally going to happen on every single deal. And my girl told her, my girl was like, hey, just calm down. Everything's going to be good because she's seen all the transactions that we've done and everything like that. She's our transaction coordinator. She could see all the intricate things that happen on every single deal. So she had to talk to her, and she was like, listen, just be calm, cool, collective. Like everything will work itself out. You just be okay because every single one of our deals has something that pops up. Like it's very rare, dude. How many out of like if you were to put a number on it, out of 10 deals that you do, how many close on the actual close date that you're supposed to close on?
Probably one, bro.
Literally.
if that, yo, we had one that, and I'm not gonna talk too much about it because we're in the final stages of it. but like everything was going perfect. This whole deal. Closing is scheduled for tomorrow. Today, literally everything is just like, what the freak, bro? And it's still a deal. It's still a good deal. But it's like everything just started happening out of nowhere today, a day before closing. And it's just like, that's why I said, like, lesson, like, even though if you know the lesson, if you know the lesson, you get retaught it a bunch of times because I know that you know, we're always supposed to expect something to go wrong on every single deal, right? But today, I just wasn't. I'm like, yo, we're at the finish line, like we're right here. So I just wasn't expecting anything, and I just got a left hook to the jaw, bro. Like,
Nah, dude, it really be like that 100%. It never goes as planned. And the funny thing is, we always relearn the lesson because here's what happens. At least here's what happens in my business. We'll look forward to a deal closing, and we already know whenever we have a deal that's about to close, we already know what we're doing with those funds.
yeah,
Like pretty much we're allocating those funds like immediately. We know exactly where we're reinvesting it in. If we're
yeah,
reinvesting into more marketing, if we're gonna go buy a deal, we need money for that or whatever, right? We already know exactly what we're gonna do with that money. And sometimes we'll time it up. We'll try to time it up, right? And it's never a good thing to do.
never, bro,
Depend on
never.
at all. Never depend on the deal for like another deal or something like that.
Yeah, it never goes right.
100%. And we were going to. We were actually. We have a deal that is supposed to be. It was. Oh, it already closed on Monday. We had a deal that closed on Monday, but we're waiting for the check and everything like that. And we were going to use a hard money loan for our fix and flip that we're closing on Monday, which
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to close this Friday. And we were just going to roll the wholesale fee into the 10% down payment, right? Just to get it done and then probably raise private money after to get reimbursed for it. But we ended up just saying, screw it. We're just gonna get it fully funded by a private money lender. So now we have a private money lender coming in to fund the whole entire purchase and the whole entire rehab rather than using hard money. But if we banked on the hard money loan and we banked on our funding, we would not have been able to close the deal. So luckily, knowing from the past, and that's something that I've learned in the past, like never bank on the deal closing on time because like
Bro, never.
9 times out
I'm,
of
I'm
10.
actually gonna stop telling people like we're gonna do this when this deal closes. Like I always say something like, "Oh yeah, we'll do this when the deal closes," or "We'll do this when this deal closes." I'm gonna just stop saying that. I think it's almost best to just like get a deal under contract, give it to your cheap TC, and then just forget about it.
Forget about it. Go get the next deal.
Go get another one. Yeah,
Freaking knowing that it's just like you don't even have time to plan on what you're doing with the money. It's just like it's too
real
much
tough.
stuff.
And thankfully, that's what happened, right? Like we had this deal, we were expecting a whole lot, and you know, shit happened, but it's not the end of the world because we have 3 deals closing this week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you keep your pipeline full. You keep. I like to keep like 7, 8 deals in escrow at all at once at minimum.
One
You
hundred
know what I
percent.
mean? So we can, if something goes wrong, we have other deals that's gonna feed the business.
That's what you need, bro. I learned that through this business through probably the past like year as we started doing multiple transactions a month, how beneficial it is to have multiple deals in escrow because when one doesn't close, you know another one is closing here the next couple months or a couple weeks, which isn't bad. So um yeah, dude, so good. What are we getting into today, bro?
We're talking about some creative financing, dog. This magical strategy that everybody and their mom wants to get into. Everybody wants to learn about creative finance. It's so sexy. When people learn about it, that's all they want to do is creative finance. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some strategies that are beneficial and some strategies that Mike and I use every single day to solve problems. All right. And one thing that I do want to highlight before we even get into this is actually like very near and dear to me. Like I really truly am passionate about what I'm about to say. Creative finance is only a tool in your tool belt. It is one key on the key ring that opens a specific door. Creative finance is not a one size fits all type of thing. It works for certain situations, very specific certain situations at that. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. You can do a lot of creative deals. I've done a lot of creative deals. But it is so easy to use creative finance as a crutch and ignore what the person really wants. Right? Like I know everybody wants to get into these deals, $0 down, 10K down, 5K down. Right? So they go into these calls thinking about what they want. Not thinking about what the seller wants.
Really good.
Most important. Right? So I just want to make that disclaimer before we get into this. Creative finance is a great tool. It's one of the best tools that I'm super grateful that I learned. But it does not fit for everybody. It does not fit for every situation. You know, like for instance, Mike, I actually let some people go on my team recently, and I was just going back listening to calls, going through my closures calls, stuff like that, and I noticed that a lot of people on my team, even some of my lead managers, they're out here just pitching terms for no reason, like just pitching terms, not even fighting, not fighting, but not even negotiating cash, and somebody gives them a number that they want. And they're like, "Oh, that doesn't work. Would you take terms?" And I'm like, "What the what? Like, what does this? What does this even mean? Like, what are you talking about?" And it just caught me off guard because it's completely opposite of what we were doing, like in our role playing and stuff like that. So I came back to my team one day and I told them, and I told you this too. I told my team, I'm like, "Look, forget everything you ever learned about creative financing." And I seen all their faces, and they were like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I do not want you to pitch terms. I don't want you to talk about seller finance. I don't want to talk about sub two. Nothing. Forget you ever learned it. Like imagine like I took the Men in Black little stick thingy and flashed it in front of your eyes, and you forgot everything about creative financing. I want you to only focus on cash, because what's happening is you guys are using terms as a excuse or a crutch, a reason to not negotiate." And it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
So here's what happens. People will learn creative finance, and just like myself, and just like probably you, when you first learned it, you're like, "Yo, this is life."
Yeah.
Like, wait. One, to your point, we can buy a house. Talking about like we're thinking about ourselves. We can buy a house with no cash, no credit, no money down, 0% interest, all these things, right? And it just sounds so freaking great. And it sounds like life. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you a story. I had me and my girl are still looking to buy a house, and we're probably gonna build a house for ourselves. It's the route that we're thinking about going down. And but we were looking for a house probably about maybe 2 years ago. This is when I was really so deep into learning creative finance. And that's when we first started having these thoughts about it, right? And I start telling her, I'm like, "Yo, we're never buying a house conventionally, ever, 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 ever. I'll never buy a house conventionally. Nope, never, never, never. We're buying it on seller finance or sub two. You're not telling me otherwise." And she used to get so mad at me. She used to get so mad. And she's like, "No, listen, we could just do an FHA. We could just do an FHA loan. It's completely fine. I have a good job. You're making money. We can just put like 3% down and buy a house." I'm like, no. We have to do seller finance or sub two, because I was so in love with it in the beginning, because it was a new world to me. Right. And when you get introduced to something that you're like, that's really stimulating, that stimulates your mind, you're like, "Yo, there's nothing else that you could tell me. We got to do this thing." Right. So when you first hear about creative finance, like, dude, I remember, think about this, Daryll. When you first learned creative finance and you were talking to somebody that didn't understand creative finance, how like happy were you to put them onto it?
Oh, I was happy as hell, bro.
Yeah, you were like, "Yo, this is the greatest thing ever."
Yeah.
Right? So you get so in love with it, but then here's what happens, right? So just like me and my girl, I was looking, we were looking, and I was like, "Yo, no matter what, we're finding a sub 2 house or seller finance house, and that's the one that we're gonna look at." We ended up just pretty much saying, "Hey, whatever God wants us to do, whatever house God puts us in front of us, whether it's a creative deal or a conventional deal, we're gonna do it. We're gonna pursue both." Right? So that's what we're doing at the moment. And ultimately it's we're gonna figure that out. But here's what happened. She would get mad because she's like, "Yo, this dude just does not get it. He's just so deeply in love with this thing called creative finance, and he won't even look at all the other blessings that he could potentially have." And now we just got a connection for somebody that's going to help us build a house on an FHA loan,
Sheesh.
right? So like an $850,000 house would only have to put down, like a brand new construction house would only going to have to put down, let's see, like 25 grand. That ain't nothing, right? That ain't no creative finance or anything like that. It's just a regular conventional type of loan. But if I was so fixated on sub two seller finances, like I wouldn't have seen that blessing. You see what I mean?
Facts.
No, I wouldn't have seen the blessing in that connection. Okay, so same thing. What happens is we will get so fixated on creative finance that when we're on seller calls, we think that that's the only thing that we can do. Right? We think because some guru on YouTube told you, "Wait, dude, you're over here offering people 40 cents on the dollar? Dude, I can give somebody full price for the house. Come learn from me." You see what I'm saying? And um I love my mentor. I love your mentor. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about just other
Talk
people
about
that I see.
everybody else other than him because our mentor is the best.
Yeah, Pace isn't like that. Pace teaches the real deal. But
Right.
I literally see, bro. I don't know if you see on your ads or not. I see ads that'll pop up where people are like forcing it down somebody's throat
Yep.
that, hey, you have to go lock up deals 40% on the dollar, and I can lock up deals 100% plus on the dollar. And they're like getting you to buy the course. Just be wary of whose world you're trying to get into. But anyways, you get it fixated on your mind, and then you hop on a seller call, and you're like, "Oh, the only solution here is creative finance because I'm going to beat out every other competition because I know I have this tool that I can get them what they want." Dude, creative finance probably 99% of the time is not what they want or need. It's just a tool. But here's the coolest thing, Daryl. It is freaking great. So let's talk about it because probably half of my deals right now are creative finance deals.
Really.
Yeah.
It's crazy how we switched sides, bro.
If we
Like
did, right?
yeah.
That is kind of crazy. So Daryl in the beginning, he was doing mainly all creative deals while I was doing all cash deals. Now we're kind of like flip flopping a little bit. I'm doing a little bit more creative than I am. Actually, no, I'm doing a little bit more cash than I am creative, but definitely doing more creative than I have done in the past. But I think it's more so what's going on in the marketplace.
For sure.
So here's the coolest part. As the market it keeps changing, everything is going on in the world, a bunch of things are going on, the interest rates are freaking high. Creative finance is going to solve people's problems left and right, and it is the best tool to use for certain problems that no other regular sale um no other regular strategy would help a regular type of retail sale or a cash deal or something like that. So it is a freaking really, really great tool. So let's get into it, bro. I think we should go over the top three main strategies, and then there's a fourth one, but it's a mixture of some of the two. So
Okay.
let's go with the most simple one first. In your opinion, what do you think is the most simple?
Seller finance, without a doubt.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. What in your opinion, how would you define seller finance?
So the simplest way that I would define seller finance is a payment plan. Literally. It's a payment plan with the seller. where you're turning the seller into the bank and you're telling them, hey, I can give you this price that you're looking for. I just have to pay you some now and the rest over time. Right? So this is when the seller owns the property free and clear. There's no mortgage on it. There's no liens on it. They want a number that is typically high. And the most important thing that you need to know when you're talking to your sellers, the most important piece of information that you need to find out when you're talking to a seller and want to pitch seller finance is what are they going to do with the money, right? What's their plan when they get all this money that they're asking for? And if they don't have a plan, or if they have like tax issues or something like that, then seller finance is a great option for them. And I tell them that. I literally tell them, I can't come up to your price cash, but I can come up to your price if you let me pay you some now and some later. Like, what's some now? What's later? What's that mean? I tell them about seller finance. I tell them the exact payment plan that we're looking to get into, right? And the reason why you can pay market value and obviously yes, you can pay market value for these houses, but you always want to have equity, right? You always want to have equity. You always want to build your equity in. So you can pay closer to market value. And the reason why you can make it make sense is because you can cash flow, right? You have to be able to set it up to where you can cash flow every single month and actually make money on top of what you're paying the seller, right? So seller finance in its simplest terms, it's a payment plan where you give the seller their price that they're looking for. You give them a down payment, which I don't know why you would give anybody a down payment. But you can give them a down payment, and then you give them monthly payments for as long as they want until you pay them out. You think that makes sense, bro?
Yeah, I love it, bro. You said something really, really good. You were saying, hey, you got to figure out what the seller is doing with the money when they sell. Okay. So this kind of circles back to what we were talking about in the beginning. It really matters to have a sales process and understand sales before anything. So let's think about these. We're talking about 4 different creative finance strategies. Really, it's 3, but there's a last one that's a mixture of the 2. Okay. All of these things are products that we have to give. Okay. So isn't a cash offer. So isn't referring them to a realtor. These are all products that we can give our client. And in this case, our client is the seller. So if we're out doing direct to seller wholesaling and our job is to get contracts, the queen bee role in this business, which means like, if you guys, I think it's Clockwork by Mike McCallows, I think that book is called. He talks about the queen bee role. And this role is pretty much, if you took the top 3 positions in your business, out of all those 3, which is the one position that your business would never, ever, ever make money without? What do you think that queen bee role is in direct to seller wholesaling?
Cash money, baby.
Cash? Well, I'm saying like the one role. So let's think about this, right? If there's 3 main roles in a wholesale business, let's just call them, it's the one getting the contracts, like the closer, it's the one generating leads, and it's the one doing transaction coordinating.
I'll say the closer.
The closer is the one that the business circles around, the queen bee. So let's think about this. The queen bee in like the animal world or the insect world, right, is what all the other bees are working for, right? They're going out, they're doing the thing, getting the pollen, everything like that for the queen bee, right? And that's the one main role that the whole business revolves around. And without that queen bee, the bees wouldn't have any work to do. Like they would have no reason to go work. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So the queen bee role in wholesaling is talking to sellers and getting contracts. It's sales and negotiating, right? Without sales and negotiating, if you're doing direct to seller wholesaling, you'll never make money. You don't even need somebody to generate leads. You don't need somebody to do transaction coordinating. You don't need somebody to manage all the systems and processes and everything like that. You do need to know how to lock up the deal, or you'll never make money. You could have somebody sending you leads. You could have somebody do the transaction coordinating. You can have somebody do all the management on the systems and processes and everything like that. They can come in from other places. But if you get rid of the queen bee role, which is in this case talking to sellers and locking up deals, then you'll never make money. The point I'm trying to make is you need to learn that before you go add more tools in your tool belt, like Daryl is saying, or what I'm saying, more products. The most simple product to know is a cash offer, right? So let's think about this. At a sales job, let's just say you are selling insurance, right? Let's just say you're an insurance person. One of my homies, he's actually the dude that does my car insurance and stuff like that. When he first started, he worked for Liberty Mutual, and all he was doing was selling car insurance. He got really, really good at sales, right? And the only product that he had to give to people was car insurance. They did that for a purpose. They didn't give him the home insurance and the life insurance and all these other products right away because they just needed to keep it simple. They didn't need to give him one thing to sell. So they gave him car insurance. In our case, and Daryl actually just said this, he's doing this with his team. That case is cash. That's the most simplest thing to do. Freaking car insurance is the most simplest type of insurance I can imagine for you to get somebody. Hey, what type of car you have? What's your car history? Okay, boom, here's your quote. Can't be that freaking hard. You know what I'm saying? That's why they give that to the agent first. So cash is the thing that you learn. That's one of your products. Now, these other products that we have that we put in there. So now my homie who was a car insurance agent can now do all these different types of insurances. He could do life insurance, he could do health insurance, he could do homeowners insurance, he could do all these different things. Just like me and Daryl, we started out, we could lock up cash deals all day, and then all of a sudden we learned creative finance, and now we can do seller finance, sub two, all these things, right? Now we have other tools in our tool belt. Now we have more ways to make money. So now I just told you guys, like half of my deals right now are creative finance deals. That's gonna bring in like more than a quarter of our revenue for the year. That's a lot of money. You see what I mean? You add that into your tool belt. But here's the thing. I learned sales before I really dug deep into creative finance. So before I was like a master with creative finance, I could lock up cash deals all day like this because I understood sales, not because I understood cash, not because I understood the thing of cash, but I understood sales. So before you go ahead and learn all these creative finance strategies that we're going to teach you today, really get a freaking sales process in place. Like really go get a coach if you don't have one already. Get somebody to teach you sales because you will not be able to lock up any creative finance deals without understanding sales. The reason why I just went over on a tangent on that is because what Daryl said, hey, go figure out what they need to do with the money. Like, why do they need the money? And you'll figure out how to structure the creative finance deal. Because if you don't understand sales and you don't understand how to extract the information from somebody, then you won't be able to structure the creative finance deal or pitch it the right way. One of the biggest things is in a seller finance deal is figuring out how much money they need. Daryl, anything that you'd like to add on that?
Nah, bro.
Do you want to go over a deal that you did on seller finance?
Yeah, let's go over one. This one is actually a little bit of a headache deal, honestly. I bought a bunch of like pretty bad deals, and this is one of them. So this deal is actually in Texas, Bryan, Texas. I don't think we can give addresses on YouTube, but the numbers are good. But the issue is it's been really hard to find a lease option tenant or a wrap buyer because I don't want to hold it. I don't want to put any repairs into it. I don't want to make it a rental, right? I just don't. If I have to, then I'll end up doing it, but I don't want to raise more money to do it. I'd rather just use my own money to do it. But nonetheless, this is a house where seller was a tired landlord. She's tired of renting it out, tired of dealing with tenants. Mind you, that's one of the best lists that you can get a creative finance deal on. Tired landlords. They like the cash flow, obviously. but
Yep.
they don't want to continue to manage it, right? So one thing that we ask them when they're looking to sell these properties is, man, Mike, you've been owning this property for 10 years as a rental. You're not going to miss the cash flow.
Hmm.
And a lot of times they're like, yeah, I'm gonna miss it a little bit. Okay, and we just keep that in our back pocket. And by the end of the call, it's like, so Mike, I remember you were saying that you may miss some of this cash flow. Cash doesn't work for us, but what if I could get you an option to where you can keep the cash flow without any of the thrill of management? You don't have to deal with toilets or tenants or anything like that. That's all me. But you can still get some cash flows. That's something that you'd be interested in?
I
And
love
Mike
it.
would be like, hell yeah, right? And so yeah, so this seller, her name's Carol. Shout out to Carol. Um,
Daryll.
Carol was actually beefing with me for a little while, but we good now. Shout out to Carol. Um, but she didn't want to be a landlord anymore, right? She didn't want to be a landlord anymore, but she wanted to keep this cash flow. She was also asking for market value for the property, so we gave her the market
Okay,
value,
so let's talk about that. What's the ARV on the house?
about 200,000.
Okay. So the after repair value, what this thing would sell for on the retail market, all fixed up, is 200,000.
Yep,
And what was the purchase price? What was the agreement with you guys?
200,000.
Okay, so dang, bro, you bought this house at the ARV. That is
Bought it
crazy.
at the Airbnb. Yep.
Interesting. Okay. So to go kind of back on what we were just talking about, yes, you can give sellers what they want, right?
Yep.
If you really want this, you don't have to go in and give them, ARV times 75% minus rehab.
I'll tell you, it
You know,
would be a lot better if you did. If you
it
did
would.
give
It would,
give
but
them.
here's the thing. This landlord here does not need that.
Right.
And we only know that by taking them through a sales process, right?
Yep.
We don't know that by giving them an offer, right? Like, it isn't just giving this person an offer. Hey, you looking to sell your property? Okay, tell me a little bit about the condition and da da da. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go talk to my team, see where we're gonna be at. Come back into the call. Yep, we're at $100,000. All right, click. Yep, I'm all set. Bye. And then
She
you're
run
like,
over the swiftness.
heck, dude, the landlord was never supposed to get the freaking cash offer in the first place because that doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
The cash offer doesn't make any sense for his situation. Why would you try to sell somebody shoes who don't wear those type of shoes?
Trying to
If
sell
they only
salt to a slug, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If somebody doesn't have their license, why are you gonna try to sell them a car, dog? Sell them the thing that they need. Okay. So here, Daryl and his team did a good job of figuring out what this person's situation was. Found out that, hey, I have this property here, which I thought it was a good rental at some point, and it used to be fun, but now it freaking stinks. I don't like it anymore. But I do like this thing called cash flow that I was getting from it. So what did Daryl say? Daryl said, you know what, dude, landlord, you've had this property for a little bit. You understand, what this property is worth, right? It's worth the 200 grand. I'm with you on that. It makes a lot of sense. It doesn't make sense for you to like manage this property for so long and then sell it for a discount. Why don't we make an agreement that says, hey, I can give you 200 grand for the property, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some payments over time. So Daryl, what do the payments look like?
So this is what makes the deal good. We're giving
Okay.
her $700,
Hmm.
and that's it. That's it. Literally $700 and 0% interest,
I love that.
which is how I was able to justify paying the 200,000
Mhm.
because now even though this isn't even though this property isn't cash flowing right now, it's still a good deal. And some people are like, what the fuck? Like, why? How's that a good deal? You're losing money every month. I'm really not. Every payment that I make to this seller, I'm building equity.
Hmm.
Every single payment because I have no interest. I'm paying my principal down. So really, this is a $200,000 loan, a free loan. This is free money that I got. right? So I'm able to to literally just pay my principal down every single month. And the plan with this, I don't care. Because I have a 5-year balloon on this. I don't care if I never put a tenant in there, right?
That
But
that is wild. That is wild. Yo, real estate is wild. Like
it's
what you're
wild.
saying.
It's wild, bro. Because look, even if I never put a tenant in there, right?
Um,
Let's say Mike, let's say I come across $50,000, right? I throw $10,000 to the seller. She's gonna love it for one, right? And two, my net worth just went up $10,000
facts.
because I'm gaining equity, right?
Mhm.
So by the time year 5 comes around and she's expecting this balloon, there's not gonna be much to pay her. I already
Facts.
paid her everything.
It's pretty much just like a silent savings account. And here's the coolest thing. So let's think about this, Daryl. Let's say over time, let's just say worst case scenario, you never found a tenant for this property, right?
Yeah.
And over the course of 5 years, right? Because maybe balloon went over some people's heads. Daryl has something called a balloon here of 5 years, meaning in 5 years or in 60 months. And by the way, this is probably what I'm talking to the seller about. I'm talking in months, not years, right? I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to give you 700 pay. I'm going to give you 60 payments of $700. That sounds a little bit better than $700 a month for 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So this means that at year 5, after year 5, Daryl is going to have to pay the rest of the loan because let's think about this. If you're paying it off for 5 years and you're only paying $700 a month, we got to do 700 times 60 months, right? And Daryl, that equals
It's all about $40,000, $42,000.
$42,000. So Daryl is going to pay, what's her name? Carol?
Carol.
Carol. Carol. Carol. Daryl's gonna play. Damn, there's too many L's in this stuff. Daryl, Curl. So Daryl's gonna pay the seller $42,000. So here's what happens over the course of 5 years. This thing right here, this 200 purchase price, or what we call a loan, is now going to come down to what? Is now going to come down to 200 minus the 42. So 200K minus the 42K.
238,000. I
The
mean, no,
loan.
138,000. I
This
mean,
is
178,000. I'm tweaking.
payments. Okay, subtract those two, and you're left with $158,000.
Damn, I was wrong every time, bro. What the hell?
It's all good. We don't need to. We don't need to know math, bro. That's why we got. So Daryl's gonna owe the seller $158,000 after 5 years. But here's the coolest thing about real estate, Daryl.
Yep.
Is that over the course of 5 years, remember we said at the moment right now, this after repair value, meaning like what the property is worth on the market is 200K. Don't you think after 5 years, this is probably going to go up?
Yeah, for sure.
So let's just say over the course of 5 years, every single year, this property appreciates. What's a good number you think? What percentage do you think this property would appreciate year by year?
It's in Texas, so Texas is it's a good appreciated market. It's not far from a college. So I don't know, but let's look up. I mean, we can honestly look it up and right now. Let me pull it up and see how much this property has been appreciating in the last 5 years. How much it appreciated in the last 5 years, so we can kind of gauge it. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see.
Okay, so
5 years ago, bro. 5 years ago, the estimated value was at $112,000.
dang, bro, and now it's worth 200K. So let's see how much that is. So 200 minus, you said of 112.
Yep.
That's $88,000. Dude, that's crazy.
Yep.
Okay, so $88,000. What we're going to do is we're going to divide that by $200,000, right? That leaves 44%. So it went up 44%. Did I do that right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Times. No, I didn't even do that right. So he got $88,000 worth of equity over the last 5 years, right?
Yep.
Let's just say, for sake of example, let's just say it went up another $88,000. Dude, your property value could potentially go up to, so over the past 5 years, and this isn't how you do it, but me and Daryl don't feel like doing math today, so bear with us. Okay, so over the past 5 years,
It's been a long day, fellas, or got people in the people
it
watching.
had $80,000 of appreciation. Let's just say, usually how you do this, me and Daryl don't feel like doing the math, but you'll take 88 and see how much of a percentage that was over the course of 5 years, and you do the numbers out in percentages. But we're not going to do that. We'll keep it simple. We'll just say, hey, let's just say this thing is going to go up another $88,000 over the course of the next year, the next 5 years. Again, that brings the property value to $288,000, which it might even go higher than that if we do the math correctly. So let's go back here. Daryl owes this lady 158 grand. But the coolest thing is Daryl's going to either sell this property or refinance. But let's just say Daryl sells it at 288 when he owes all the money in 5 years. Daryl, you're gonna have $130,000 in equity. You're going to get $130,000 back. All you've been putting into this deal is 42 grand.
Yep.
That is freaking insane. Now you will have some fees, some closing costs and realtor costs and everything like that. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. We'll save that for another day. But ultimately, Daryl is going to make a killing on this deal.
That's if I make the minimum payment. Imagine if when I get a tenant in here, right, and my tenant pays me $700. What if I just match their $700 every month with my money? Because that's pretty much what it is. It's like it's a savings account, right? So let's say $1,400 a month. I pay down times 60. 1,400 times 60. That's $84,000.
That is crazy, bro.
It's crazy.
This is without, by the way, this is without you getting a tenant in there.
Exactly. Now I look at the way I look at creative financing, well, seller finance in particular. We're literally creating money out of thin air. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We're like with seller finance, with notes, like you're literally creating money out of thin air. That's all we're doing. These are just numbers on paper, and we're turning it into money. It's crazy.
Literally, that is a very, very cool way of thinking about it. Here's what we're doing. We're creating an opportunity and a problem into money from just by moving papers.
Yeah.
It's the most interesting thing. So good. But that's what seller finance is, everybody. The next thing we're going to talk about, and we're probably going to rifle through these next two. Maybe we'll do a deep dive on these next two. But the next one is subject to. So, Daryl, explain what subject to is.
It's all right. So the main difference between seller finance and subject to is subject to has a mortgage. It has a debt on the property, right? So you cannot do seller finance on a property that has debt on it, right? This is called, when there's debt on it, it's called subject to, right? So you're buying the property subject to the existing mortgage. And that's when we leave the mortgage in place and we pay the mortgage on the seller's behalf every single month until that loan is paid out totally. So straight sub 2 is where the seller they walk away with nothing, or you may give them a down payment up front, and you don't give them any monthly payments. You just pay their mortgage over time until you pay them out, right? So we did one in Newport News, Virginia. I'm actually looking to sell this one too. Like this one is another one of those headache properties where the
Hey, bro, why
seller,
you headache properties, dog?
bro, so many, bro. I just sold one today, bro. Where guess how much I made on it?
How much?
$1,900.
Dang,
I
on a property
profit,
that you close on?
huh?
You close on it or assigned it?
I sold it. Like I own this and I sold it, bro. I was a motivated seller.
You get
I
sales
was a
process?
motivated seller, bro. I bought the house sub 2, actually. I bought it sub 2 and I sold it cash because there was I didn't have any boots on the ground in the area. I was trying to wrap it. I thought it was gonna be easy to wrap, and it just wasn't easy to wrap, right? So this seller, this was actually a pretty cool story because the mortgage was actually in a deceased person's name, right? So the owner of the property passed away. We bought the property subject to from her mother, who was on the deed, right? So the mortgage stayed in place. We paid the mother up front. We paid her $6,500 to walk away, and we were paying this mortgage, this $1,100 mortgage, every single month on the seller's behalf, right? So this is typically when there's no equity. Sellers asking for a lot of money, or not asking for a lot of money, but sellers is asking for a lot of money, but that's because the mortgage is close to what they owe, right? So we tell them, it wouldn't make any sense for me to go get a bank loan to pay off your bank loan. The only person who's going to win in that is the bank. What we need to do is I can come up to your price, but we just have to leave this mortgage in place, and I have to make these payments on your behalf every single month, right? So a lot of people think it's you're assuming a mortgage. You're not assuming it. Assuming is completely differently. What we're doing is the seller's name stays on the mortgage. They stay on the debt. They stay responsible for the debt. Your name goes on the deed. You're the owner of the house. You pay taxes. The toilet breaks, it's you. Window breaks, it's you, because you're the owner of the house. The mortgage is just going to be a separate document, and that is going to be in the seller's name. You're going to make that payment on the seller's behalf every single month. Does that make sense, Mike?
It makes a ton of sense, bro, because what's funny? It's kind of the opposite of what you said of the first strategy. You're like, hey, the first strategy, guy might not really need to sell, but he wouldn't mind paying over time. He just wants the number that he wants, right? So it sounds like the first person isn't really in too much pain, essentially, but we're solving some sort of problem with them, and providing some sort of solution to whatever they got going on. But with this second one that we're talking about, it sounds like there's a lot more pain that goes along with it. Like, why would this lady ever sell her mother's house for $6,500 up front?
Say that one more time.
Like, why would this lady ever sell her property, her mother's house, for $6,500 up front and walk away?
Well, it was the mother actually selling it for her daughter had passed away, and the mother was selling it because she's not a landlord, right? She's not a real estate investor. One thing. This is a gem, right? One of the most motivated sellers that you'll ever come across is an accidental landlord. They're some of the most motivated people that you can come across because they want nothing to do with the property. And these are a lot of times
That's you, bro. That's you.
me.
So
It was me. Yeah, I was an accidental landlord, bro. Because I
literally,
didn't want to be the landlord. I just wanted to be the bank on this. I wanted to wrap it and just be the bank.
yeah.
And next thing you know, I'm a freaking landlord. So I had to sell it.
That is interesting, bro. Like, it really is a stressful situation for somebody when they never intended on being a landlord, or they intended on a different situation, and then they get into it and they're like, whoa, this is not what I thought this business was about. Because really, when you're buying a property, you're buying a business. You know what I mean? You're buying an operation. You're buying something that needs to produce cash, that has systems, processes, and all that stuff. That's what it is. And a lot of times people will get in the wrong business and be like, dang, I need to jump. Right. And that's what happens sometimes. People buy these deals and they're like, damn, I am not built for this. This is not what I am supposed to be doing. And those are the perfect clients. So their sub two deals are attached to somebody that has a lot of pain. I bought a sub two property in Arizona. Here's what happened. Lady lives in my area, lives in Boston. She bought a property in Arizona, never moved into it because she was supposed to move in with her boyfriend or something like that, and they broke up. So she now had a property in Boston and had a property in Arizona. Obviously didn't sell the property in Boston because they broke up. She's like, I'm not going to go sell my house now because I'm not moving out there. So now she dealt with 2 mortgages and she just stopped making the payments. She's like, you know what? I'm just not going to make the payments anymore. All of a sudden, she's behind on her mortgage, like 20 something $1,000 and about to face foreclosure. So she was literally about to get foreclosed on. We had like 7 days to stop the foreclosure. That's a lot of pain, Daryl. Like, think about this. If you're about to go through foreclosure, you got 7 days to stop it. Like, you don't have many other options.
Facts.
We came in and saved the day. We caught up the mortgage payments of like the $20,000. We took it down, and now we're just making it one of our rentals, right? But why would somebody do that? Is because they were in a lot of pain. They had a lot of motivation to get that thing done. Because typically the best situation for somebody, Daryl, is not keeping a mortgage in their name while somebody else owns the property, unless they need to.
Facts. Because who would do that?
100%.
Why would anybody do that?
Facts. Would you ever sell your car, like if you really didn't need to, with somebody else making the mortgage? I mean, the car payments.
Nah, not at all.
But what happened? What happened if you lost your job, right? And you couldn't afford the Mercedes no more?
Yep.
Yeah, hell yeah, somebody can make my mortgage payments. I'm sick of this mortgage, this car payment. You know what I'm saying? That's what sub two is. So let's think about it like this. Sub two is, let's just say Daryl owned a Mercedes and he's like, Mike, I know you've been looking for a Mercedes. I have this Mercedes that I'll sell to you for $20,000. I have $20,000 left over on my car note. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't I just keep the car note in place and just pay that? And Daryl's like, yeah, I know, Mike, I know you have been, haven't been having a good W-2 job or whatever the case is, and you can't go get qualified for a loan. Why don't you end up just buying my property and I'll keep the car note in place? And Mike is like, yeah, I'll just make your car note, bro. I'll literally log into your Mercedes website, right? Or I'll make my own password or whatever the case is. And I'll literally log in and make the payment from my bank account, and we can transfer the car into my name and I'll drive it. You don't have to worry about that payment no more. And Daryl's like, yeah, cool. That's what subject to is. So literally, bro, you can buy a house with somebody else's credentials. Somebody else went out and got that loan. Somebody else's W-2 income got that loan. For people like us who don't have W-2 jobs, sometimes it can be difficult for us to go out and qualify for a loan because the banks look at us like, dude, you guys are, there's a bunch of peaks and valleys in you guys in the business. There's no like, yeah, there's no like strong W-2 income. Like that's actually strong, which I'm completely against that. Like, dude, I would much rather be an entrepreneur. I think you're much more safe as an entrepreneur than you are in a job.
All day.
I had somebody talk to me like a month or two ago, and they were like, bro, I'm literally on the verge of losing my job. I don't know what the heck to do. So stressed out, like super stressed out, most stressed out I've really ever seen somebody. And I'm like, dang, bro, I'm just grateful God gave me a gift to go make money on my own.
For real. And the crazy thing is he gives everybody that gift. Everybody has the gift to go make money on their own. You just need to get yourself out the matrix. Like, shout out to Andrew Tate. But you gotta get yourself out the matrix, bro. Like, can we turn the last part of this into that? Can we talk about this, bro?
We can actually let's do that, because those are the two main types of creative finance strategies. The third one, I want to do a whole entire series on, or a whole entire episode on, and that's novation agreements. So stay tuned for novation agreements because I freaking love novation agreements more than the first two creative finance deals that we're talking about. So yeah, dude, let's talk about this freaking matrix. How do we get people out of the damn matrix?
Bro, you just have to make a choice.
Mm.
Literally, red pill, blue pill. Like, go watch The Matrix again and literally watch the actual movie and see how it is real life. Like, most people are voluntarily just, and they don't even know. They're just, what was the pill again? I need to go back and watch myself. What was the pill that got them out, that made them like superheroes? Was it the red pill?
Don't ask me, bro.
Let's just go with that. The red
That's
pill.
Somebody
The
in the
red
comments.
pill. What is that?
Somebody in the comments got to know.
Whatever. Look, let's just say the red pill. The red pill lets you live life however you freaking want. Like, literally, in this world, you can do whatever you put your mind to. Whatever you.
Daryll just went to the damn matrix. You're on mute, bro. Okay, so here's my thoughts. I don't think entrepreneurship is made for everybody.
Bro, people double dialing me, bro. Like, breaking through my do not disturb. but
Dang,
yo,
bro, that's strong. There's got to be something on the iPhone, bro, that they put where it's just like, yo, you cannot call me. You know what I'm saying?
real.
Do they have that?
I don't know.
Because I be getting annoyed when I put my do not disturb on and people still get through the damn wall. I'm like, yo, this shit better be important.
I can't even get mad though because that's me. Like, I do that all day.
I do it too now. You're right.
I double dial people, and like when they even if I send a text and it's not urgent, but I see that it says like this person doesn't receive your text, I'll still hit notify anyways, just because how can you like why would you suppress my text? Like, I want to make sure you see that shit. Like, just the pettiness inside of me makes me push that button. Even if it's not important, you're gonna see this text. But like I was saying though, yo, it's really a choice to do this, and a lot of people, they're so stuck on like this ideal of the American dream. I want this security. I want this house with the picket fence, and I want to live in the same place forever. And I want this secure job that's gonna pay me the same every single month. Like, bro, fuck that. It's not fun at all. Like, I don't like to put a cap on, like, how can you let somebody. I seen a video. I seen Dame Dash interview, and he was talking shit. It wasn't even talking shit. He was talking at the breakfast. He was at the Breakfast Club, and he was talking to DJ Envy, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I forgot exactly what he said, but he was pretty much telling him that, like, how could your kids ever respect you when you call another man boss?
Yeah,
you have to ask another man or woman for permission to go on vacation, or to go to the bathroom, or to sleep in if you wanted to. Like, how can your family respect you if that's how you have to operate? You have to literally go to another person and ask them for permission to live your life how you want to. I don't know about y'all, but I can't do that. And I used to be able to. There's nothing wrong. Let me say, if you absolutely want to have a job, like, I don't mean to ruffle your feathers. Somebody got to be a worker. Like, not everybody can be a boss. And it's just that just is what it is. Not everybody can be a boss. Like, not everybody is genetically. I honestly believe that to be a boss, like, you have to have like a certain type of genetic makeup. Like, you have to literally be okay with watching your bank account hit the negative and be super positive that you can fucking come out of this situation. Mm-hmm. And when you have payroll coming up and you don't barely have anything in your account, but you know that you're gonna make this shit happen regardless. You know what I mean? And it's just a different type of mentality, right? It's just a different type of mentality. It's like, how can you let anybody tell you how much you're worth every hour of the day? To me, you cannot tell me how much I'm worth. an hour. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Money is infinite. It's abundant. There's an abundance of money out here.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I let anybody tell me that I'm worth $20 an hour, $15 an hour? It just makes absolutely no sense for me. And I always wondered, like, why I was always such a bad employee. Like, why I always sucked at being, an employee. And like, I always like did the bare minimum. And it's because I wasn't meant to live that life. Like, I just didn't take instruction well. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody told me to do something, I would purposely do the opposite. Or not even just do the opposite. I would just do the bare minimum to where I wouldn't get fired.
Yeah, very similar to like me in school.
Yeah.
Do the bare minimum. Here's the thing: me in school, in high school, bro. Guess what my GPA was in high school?
What?
You're laughing, dog. Why you
1.8?
Come on, yo, put some respect on my name.
No, it had to be a little higher because you played ball. You definitely were over 2.0. Definitely over 2.0.
Here's the deal. High school, my GPA was a 3.8.
Okay.
I was a genius, at least.
You was a genius.
That's what they thought. Here's the thing: I cheated on absolutely every single test. I didn't do my homework, none of that. I got by with flying colors. So here's the thing: I went and took my SATs, where you cannot cheat, you can't do any of that, and I did terrible. Like they were like, "Yo, Mike, you need to be over there with what the heck did they call it, yo? It was like the bottom of the food chain classes." And that's what they looked at. That's what they looked at my SATs, and they're like, "Yo, something's not adding up. Why are you in the high honor classes, but your SATs look like you need to be in the other classes with all the other boneheads?"
Oh man.
So obviously, I was just really, really good at getting by and cheating. And then here's the thing: I got to college, and I realized I really do not give a shit about cheating. I'm not going to go out of my way to get this thing done. I'm just going to do some of my work, and I'm just going to get by. So literally in college, I just got by to make sure that I did not have to go to study hall for football.
Facts.
I did not want to do that. I had to stay over like a 2.5 or something like that. And I was at like a 2.55. I didn't have to go to study hall. Anyways, yeah, that's just like, to your point, bro. I was not meant for school. I was not meant for a job.
Dang.
But that's me, right? I don't know if I would push everybody to be an entrepreneur because, dude, it will break people, bro. And I've seen it break people. Like literally in my personal life, like people that I'm close to, I've seen it really break people to the point where somebody was in bed for 3 days straight, not able to move because of what entrepreneurship did to them. It's like, yo, this thing is a beast of its own. Like Daryll said, there's peaks and valleys. There's times where everything's freaking amazing. Heart rate's beeping. Then all of a sudden there's times where you're just like, well, you're making a risk and you're just like, shit, this is it or not. Like,
not for sure.
Or sometimes where you're in a stressful situation where you're just like, I don't know how the heck I'm going to get out of this, but I know I'm gonna. That it takes a certain type of person, bro, to go through that. But here's the thing, Daryll, that's with somebody who's like really out here trying to do entrepreneurship at a high level. You don't necessarily.
Bro, do you know the definition of entrepreneur?
Let's hear
it. A person who organizes and operates a business or businesses, taking on greater than normal financial risks in order to do so.
So if you're okay with that, then be an entrepreneur. If you're not okay with that, then maybe you need to go out and take some more risks and build up your risk tolerance. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing, what I was just saying, Daryll, like that definition, right, doesn't say it has to be massive, like a massive risk. It just says bigger than normal. So if you're working a regular 9-to-5 job, you don't really have that much risk in the world's opinion. In my opinion, you do, because somebody could take that damn job away from you in 2 seconds.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm just like, yo, ain't nobody can fire me if I'm my own boss. Like the only person that can fire me is me. Right? So that's my thoughts on that. But here's the thing, Daryll, you don't have to take like freaking massive risks. You can literally be cool with making $100,000 a year. Like, dude, it's not that hard to make $100,000 a year in wholesaling real estate. Dude, you can make that with one freaking deal.
Bro, I'm pretty sure I made like 90K my first year.
Dude, it's not that hard to make that
Nah,
much.
it's not.
And you didn't really have to spend any money.
No.
Right? Like, dude, literally, if you're up in Boston, that's like 4 deals. You just have to stumble across 4 deals. And you'll make $100,000. So, like, you really do not have to work that hard. And it's not that much risk. You can go out and knock doors. Dude, if you knock doors for 3 days a week, you're going to make at least $250,000 in a year. Easily. That's nothing, bro. And you could be chilling. And you can go have all the time you want with your kids, all the time you want with your family, all that. Right? But if you're trying to go big, like me and Daryll are going big.
Facts. I'm glad
We're
you
not.
say
No. I made sure. Like we're going big, yo. We're not playing around. So it takes big risks. Big risk means like big overheads every single month. We're getting ourselves into big deals that we don't know what the heck is going on. Like Daryll, let's think about the first deal you ever bought and closed on. You probably were like, all right, well, I think this is a good deal. I've never done this before, but it feels like this is what I should do. So let's rock.
Yeah.
And bro, so like you really just got to look at your risk tolerance before you're getting into entrepreneurship.
Bro, my expenses the past 5-6 months have been 10K plus every month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been literally from bad deals and the business.
Mm-hmm.
Every month. Bro, that would most people would fold, bro. Most people would fold. Like I made it like the past 6 months, I made a good amount of money. And all of it, majority of it has been going towards those expenses. You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, what's next? We just gotta make more money. That's the answer.
I'm with you on that. My girl gets so mad about that when she's just like, all right, well, what the heck? We got to figure this thing out. And I'm like, yo, we don't have to figure nothing out. We don't have to cut down the expenses and none of that. We just gotta go make more money. That's it.
Gotta make more money. It's the answer to a lot of problems.
Like a deal fell through or something like that. We're like, dang, we just gotta go find another deal and make more money.
Find another one.
Dang, we gotta find out a better process for next time. No, we just gotta go make more money. Let's just go create more chaos and make more money. That's it. That's the answer to everything. Yeah, dude. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. But for the people that want to get into it, I really think you just have to look at yourself in the mirror because I have seen it break people.
Facts. And that's it for our TED Talk today, bro.
Hell yeah. Love it. This was another. Say it again.
No, I was going to say, did you have anything else?
No, this was another episode of Wholesale Hardknocks. I need you guys to stay tuned for what me and Daryll have coming up. I'm not playing. Like, everybody who's listening to me right now, please put it in your calendar, put it in your freaking your diary, do whatever the heck you're gonna do, but make sure you remember what I'm saying. 2 weeks from today, we are doing something epic. So I need you guys to pay attention. Go make sure that you're following Daryll on social media, on all of his social medias, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, all the things. Go to his Discord community. Same thing with me. Go follow my Instagram. Go get in the Blueprint Facebook community. Go on my YouTube and all that. We're going to be talking about it, but something big is coming up in 2 weeks. Last week, instead of Wholesale Hardknocks, we did a whole entire live, a Zoom, a free webinar for 3 hours straight. People's brains were freaking melting, and it's going to be better than that. And we have a present for y'all. So this is 2 weeks from today.
It's a nice present.
So I need you guys to just pay attention. Stay close. Stay on our social medias. Come back next week Maybe we'll give a little bit more information of exactly what is going to happen in 2 weeks. But come back next week for Wholesale Hard Knocks. Dow, I think we should dive deep next week on novation agreements. What do you think?
Let's do it. I want to learn. Teach me, bro.
Throw one in the chat if you guys want to talk about novation agreements next week. Because everybody hits me up all the time because I do put out a decent amount of content about novations. And they're like, Mike, I heard you are the novation king. Like, tell me, how the heck do I get these novations done? If you guys want me to like put on a masterclass next week about novation agreements, I need you to put a 1 in the chat. If there's not one in the chat, then we're going to talk about we're going to go off on another tangent about entrepreneurship.
We're just going to yell at people. For an hour straight, we're going to yell at people.
Love it. Okay, cool. Alrighty. All right, people. This was another episode of Wholesale Hard Knocks. We appreciate y'all so much. Me, Daryll. Any other words?
Nah, dog. I'm getting tired, so I need to go get this workout in before it's too late.
Let's get it, bro.
Let's go.
We out. Peace.